This is from the new news site Semaphore. Terrible name. Shelby Talcott is the reporter. Here's the headline. Hispanic leaders warn Democrats voters are fed up with Biden. Now, let me read you part of this. President Joe Biden is headed into 2024 with concerning numbers among Hispanic voters. A new USA Today Suffolk survey shows him trailing Donald Trump by 5 percentage points, with many reluctant to back either candidate. While it's an especially rough poll, others have also shown him struggling to match his 2020 numbers with a key swath of the Democratic base. And Hispanic leaders say they're seeing the same problems on the ground. It's a matador red flag flying out there. The Hispanic vote is totally up for grabs. Domingo Garcia, national president of the League of United Latin American Citizens, told Semaphore, Trump's cutting the margins. And in battleground states like Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, that can be a big difference. Conversations with leaders of Hispanic groups and political consultants in both parties underscored Biden's difficult path forward. His challenges with Hispanic voters are not dissimilar to his problems with the broader electorate. Dissatisfaction over inflation, concerns about record high border crossings, and lack of excitement over his policy accomplishments. And even as he works to shore up border security with a potential bipartisan deal in Congress, members of his own party warn he could also lose support in November if an agreement ends up being perceived as overtly hostile to immigrant communities. Now, I'm going to stop here because I don't just have thoughts on this. I have knowledge about this issue. There is a fundamental problem playing out on the left right now that they don't seem to grasp it. When you live by race, you die by race. When everything is a race issue, you're going to get consumed by racial issues. The problem here is Democrats campaign on identity group politics. We see this playing out in the Claudine Gay situation. Hispanic Americans don't really consider themselves Hispanic Americans. The data, by the way, you go to Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and stuff. Yeah, as an identity group, they call themselves the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, but they're Americans. They are Americans. They may come from Spain, Central or South America, the Caribbean. They are Americans. And by the way, they're not really Hispanic. They're Mexican, they're Guatemalan, they're Honduran, they're Nicaraguan, they're Colombian, they're Venezuelan, they're Argentinian, they're Chilean. They're Spanish. And then, of course, you have Portuguese as well and Brazilians in there as well who get lumped in. These are a mass pool of people who Democrats treat as a monolith. And they're not. Not only that, they have more in common with blue-collar workers. In fact, many of them are blue-collar workers. You know why Hispanic voters, and again, I fall into this too, using this lump term, but it makes it easy for the conversation. You know what I mean when we say these Hispanic voters. You know why they're upset about the border and immigration? Because the illegals are taking their jobs. Driving down wages. Many Hispanic voters in this country are blue-collar workers. You go to a hotel, they're running housekeeping. They might be running room service. They're running or working for the landscape companies. They're working for the electricians, or they are the electrician. They are your plumber. They work in restaurants. They bust their butts. And you have somebody who didn't do what they did, that has come across legally and established American citizenship, coming in, driving down wages in these blue-collar industries, taking their jobs, coming into their neighborhoods where they live, sometimes bringing drugs and crime. They don't like it. They do not like it. And then this idea that they're just all one set of people. They don't have their own issues. They don't have American issues. Somehow they have Hispanic issues. These people, I got to tell you, they busted their butts to come to this country. Some of them came illegally, went back, established citizenship. A lot of them went and stood in line at the local American embassy, established a right to get here, became a permanent resident alien, became a citizen. They put in the work. They put in the time. They came here. They are some of the hardest working people you will meet. And they see the border being overrun with a bunch of people who didn't take the time to do what they did, and they're not happy with it. Of course not. They put in the work. And then you have a Democratic Party that wants to lump them all in. Oh, well, the issues of the Hispanic voter and the illegal immigrant are the same. No, the hell they are not. One's an American citizen and one is not. I assure you, they are different issues. The demeaning nature of how even the press, because the press is so into left woke speak these days, how they deal with these issues. That, oh, well, they're Hispanic. This is what they care about. No, they're Americans. This is what they care about. They care about crime in their neighborhoods. They care about a good job for their kids and a good education for their kids. And they, sure, more than any other group, Hispanic voters in this country are the most culturally conservative. And I assure you, they do not want drag queen story hour in their school, and they do not want boys competing against their daughters on sports teams. And Democrats have just lumped them all together. Oh, identity politics. It's identity politics. They are culturally oppressed by whitey, and therefore they and the transgender community live in sympathy together. No, they don't. And you know the funny thing that the data shows, and the data has shown for a very long time, the longer Hispanic families live in this country, they identify as white and Republican. It's one of the funniest things about this. This is why I don't get worked up about the immigration issue. I mean, look what's happening. Immigrants in this country from Central and South America are moving to the right. I got a lot of people who listen to this show every day. They're going, oh, the Democrats are letting these people come in because they want Democratic voters. I mean, you got a bunch of people in this country right now who would qualify for that, and they've become Trump voters. But the Democrats, like so many people on the right who are just horrified by, oh my gosh, it's just going to be a new way. It's a great replacement. The Democrats are going to come in, or the Hispanics are going to come in. They're going to start voting Democrat. I mean, Democrats think that too. But the reality is they're starting to vote Republican. And of course, you know, it's this whole idea that, oh, they don't have a message. Listen to this. This is kind of funny. Going back to the Semaphore piece, and this again, this Domingo Garcia from the League of United Latin American Citizens, Garcia told Semaphore, the fear of a second Trump presidency and the prospect of dramatically stepped up deportations remains an asset for Biden, especially with women. But the president still hasn't figured out how to package his presidency in an appealing way. They lack a core message, and right now Latino voters are really concerned about economics. Inflation has eaten away their paychecks, the cost of rent. Trying to buy a house seems to be more elusive than ever. What? You mean they've got white people concerns? No, they have American people concerns. Javier Palomares, president and CEO of the United States Hispanic Business Council, a leading advocate for Hispanic-owned firms across the U.S., criticized the administration's triumphal Bidenomics push, arguing it's not reflective of what people on the ground are actually experiencing. I understand their need to create a narrative and to drive the narrative. It's a tried and true strategy that's worked for administration after administration, campaign after campaign. But the narrative they're building is one that is a bit tone deaf to what's actually happening in the Hispanic community. And I'm not even saying that they're incorrect. It's just remarkable. All the people quoted in this talking about these Hispanic issues. And what it actually is, it's American issues. So many people have so embraced identity politics, particularly in the press and on the left, and they treat Hispanic voters as just a identity group. And because it's an identity group and it's not white, clearly it must be Democrat, and yet it's not trending that way. it's trending Republican, and they don't know how to deal with it because it defies identity politics. This gets back to that chart from the National Museum of African American History and what they consider to be whiteness. And the very first one is rugged individualism is whiteness. Independence and autonomy are highly valued and rewarded. Individuals are assumed to be in control of their environment. You'll get what you deserve if you work hard enough. You'll succeed. The individual is the primary unit. Self-reliance. And the family structure, that there should be a nuclear family with a father and a mother and children as the ideal social unit. That sounds like a lot of Hispanic families to me. And yet this is lumped in as whiteness. There's nothing to do with that. Democrats can't see beyond that, though. The fatal flaw for the Democratic Party right now is the identity politics that they've embraced, that black voters are homogenous, that Hispanic voters are homogenous, white voters are all a bunch of racists. Hannah Nicole, whatever her name is, Nicole Hannah, whatever, the 1619 Project, she's on social media talking about there's a difference between a racial black and a political black. You got to have both to be authentically black. You got to have both. This is the level of madness the left has descended to, and it plays out in the Hispanic community, the black community, the white community, the Asian community, across the board. And it's why they're beginning to lose these people, because they've chosen not to treat these people as individual human beings with souls who have passion and desire and ambition, but to lump them all in as classes and categories based on where they came from and the color of their skin. And so many of the people who would be labeled as Hispanic came here to be American, and the Democrats don't want to treat them as Americans. They want to treat them as an immigrant underclass who can't get ahead in this country, when these people are some of the hardest working people you will ever meet, who are thriving and getting ahead, but are somehow told they can't by Democrats, and they're beginning to resent that. All these people want is the American dream, and the Democrats have not only told them they can't get it, but they've made it impossible for them to get it. And now the Democrats can understand why these people might vote for Donald Trump, who they presume, the Democrats do, that these people would be scared of him. No, they remember Donald Trump's economy. They all had good paying jobs back then.
Want to be on